dito po sa dalawang slides na ating ipinakita, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the programs of DepEd, it will appear that only 4,250,000 was spent for the counterinsurgency program, Mr. Chair. And therefore, there remains an unaccounted amount equivalent to 10,490,000 out of the total confidential fund, which is 15,540,000. Meanwhile, Mr. Chair, if we will be anchoring our analysis on the location of the source of information and the location of the recipients of the Youth Leadership Summits and the Information and Education Campaign, what is consistent with respect to their location is equivalent only to the amount of 4,282,000 pesos. So there remains also an unexplained amount of 10,490,000 pesos. Nasaan naman po kaya itong amount na ito? Mr. Chair, in conclusion, I wish to believe that the confidential fund of the Department of Education was not properly recorded.
Ms. Hemora.
Your Honor, is it for the next hearing? May we be clarified?
For the next hearing, kaya nga pinapaunahan ko na po kayo the questions that I might raise. No? Basta MC ng 7-002, BTR 02 of 2019 for the Bureau of Treasury, and yung GMC. No? How you check na lang po how consistent, because in the GMC, in the case of Mr. Edward Farda, his salary grade is only 17 with a salary of 41,508. Pero yung encashment niya in one check is 37 million. So we have to check on it. Kasi po, based on the record, napakarami pong mga officers in the office of the Vice President na mataas pong posisyon, but hindi sila binigyan. For example, in the case of Argonza Belinda, ang posisyon niya po ay Supervising Administrative Officer. 75,000 yung ano niya, salary niya. In the case of Cesar Abalon, Chief Education Program Specialist, doon po sa DepEd, ang salary grade niya is 101,000. Why a 41,000 with a salary grade 17 was given the authority to encash checks worth 37 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. So that will be the question that will be raised by this representation in the next hearing, especially on matters of policy. No, because sabi ko na nga, if the office of the Vice President to the legal department is questioning about jurisdiction of this committee to investigate such government funds and expenditures, we have the jurisdiction. To the land bank, of course, a while ago, you mentioned about that you received the invitation in a short notice. That was just yesterday at 4 p.m. But let me remind you, I will not ask the details, but I will ask you now about the policies. And let me remind you, and for the record, we will not ask about specific bank details. And you cannot invoke the bank secrecy law. When in fact, that's why in this hearing, again, question of jurisdiction, this committee has the jurisdiction because for the past several years, no, hindi lang to OBP, hindi lang to DepEd, all other agencies in government, and that includes LGU, may problema tayo because during the investigation in other committees, especially in my committee in the public accounts, question of the bank secrecy law is being invoked by the land bank. At this time, you cannot invoke because we have now the checks. We have now the checks that was encashed in your branch. Now, The first, eto, bibigay ko sa inyo. For Gina Acosta, this check was addressed to Gina Acosta in Shaw Boulevard branch. Shaw Boulevard. Sino ba yung ang manager nyo? Shaw Boulevard. Nandito ba siya? Wala. Wala. Comsec, Mr. Chairman, I move to invite the branch manager of Shaw Boulevard Land Bank in the next hearing.
Comsec, please
Noted,
take
Your
note of
Honor.
the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
And with regards to DepEd, to the DepEd, nandito rin po yung mga cheque. The total is 112.5 million for 37.5 every check, million every check. Now this is from a land bank dito po sa Dex, sa Ultra Compound. Do you have a branch? So, Mr. Chairman, once again, I move that we invite the branch manager of this land bank branch for the DepEd.
Comsec, please take note of the manifestation of Congressman Paduano.
Now, let me proceed na lang, Mr. Chair, matter of policy with regards to land bank. What is the maximum reserve fund of those mentioned branches?
ABP, Camposano, would you like to respond?
Different branches have different CI cash in vault levels, sir.
Tanong ko nga magkano, yung sa branch na yon, yung sa Ultra, at saka doon sa Shaw Boulevard.
I'm not aware of the Shaw Boulevard branch, but with the DepEd branch, it's 10 million.
10 million. Okay, but the check that was in cash, or that's why I want the manager of that such branch. Kasi alam ko hindi niya naman masasagot. Pero I want her to be present in the next hearing because if the maximum reserve fund of that branch is only 10 million, the check that was it's either in cash or deposited to other banks or other bank accounts was 37.5 million. And it happens not only once, it happens several times. 3 cheque po dito ang hawak namin. Kompleto po, pati yung mga check number nandito. So, I hope, Land Bank, you bring your branch manager the next hearing. And please prepare also for the reserve fund of the Shaw Boulevard branch.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Your Honor.
let me proceed, Mr. Chairman. So, what will, specifically, what will be, if in the case of the Ultra Compound branch, maximum is only 10 million. What will happen if the encashment is more than 10 million? And in this case, it's 37.5 million.
We usually ask our client to call us in advance, 2 days or 1 day before the encashment, for us to prepare the amount.
Okay, so 1 day or 2 days notice for the client.
Yes.
Okay. Now next. Di ba pag yung client, yung check is under the client's name, he should be or she should be physically present
Yes, sir.
during encashment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, yun. We will also check that. If Edward Farda, in the case of DepEd, and Jen Acosta is physically and personally present during the encashment. Okay?
Yes.
Now, next question. With the amount of 125 million and 37.5 million, this is just a matter of policy. And I do believe that he cannot bring it wherever he wants if that was an encashment. So, what will happen?
Sir, I cannot understand what.
Okay, eto lang po. Do you allow delivery of such amount or big cash amount from if the client request for it
No,
to be
sir.
delivered?
No, sir.
No. Is it, are you sure of that, attorney? Are you sure that it is not allowed?
It depends, sir. If we have a memorandum of agreement with the agency.
Ano lang po,
with the-
pakilapit-lapitan lang po.
It depends if we have an agreement with the client, if with a memorandum of agreement for delivery of payroll of whatever.
Correct. If you have a memorandum of agreement,
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, ganito po. Please submit to this committee because I do not believe that Jen Acosta and Mr. Farda,
Transactions above 500,000 shall be reported to the AMLA.
ayun na nga eh. Yun na nga yung sinasabi ko eh. But in this case, kung 500,000 yung maximum, eh, pero yung withdrawal, especially ito, government funds, 37.5 million, 125 million. Kaya nga, Mr. Chairman, again, I would like to reiterate na kailangan talaga ma-revisit yung banking laws and particularly yung bank secrecy law. Kasi this in my 11 years in Congress with regards to investigation, especially the which land bank or government banking institution is involved, lagi po nakatali yung kamay ng Kongreso because of this bank secrecy law. But again, you cannot anymore invoke that bank secrecy law because COA has already submitted all the checks. But I will not ask about the details in the next hearing with regards to how much is the actual bank, yung laman ng bank account ng DepEd or the Office of the Vice President. But I will ask you, how did these transactions happen? Kasi po, unang-una, ang tanong po, ano ba to? Si Edward Farda, cash encashment bang ginawa niya o yung cheque, transfer niya sa ibang bangko?
Encashment, sir.
Sigurado ka, encashment?
Yes, sir.
Paano mo nalaman?
I was the former branch manager of the DepEd branch, sir.
Okay. So ito, alam mo.
Yes, sir.
Alam mo. So pwede na kitang tanungin ngayon o pwede na o next hearing na?
Next hearing, sir.
Okay, mabait ako ngayon. Okay, next hearing ha. Magandaan mo, ikaw pala, hindi mo, dapat sana, kaya pala alam mo, yung specific na location ng branch na yun, kasi ikaw pala yung ano dito, branch manager noon.
Yes, sir.
Kaya alam mo.
Yes,
So, you're familiar about all these checks
Yes, sir.
and how these checks was encashed.
Yes, sir.
And how was it delivered? The cash.
It was not delivered.
Oh. Alam mo. Yung delivery from the bank. Ikaw yung branch manager, hindi mo alam how it was delivered?
The cash from our cash center, sir, or the cash for the ano
No,
for
for example, we're talking about the first check, 37.5 million. Ang bangko niyo bang nag-deliver? O
Over the counter.
binitbit ni Farda?
I think the question, ma'am, is how it was encashed. So kung paano po ba to over the counter?
Yes, sir.
So isang bagsak, magkano pong amount yan, Congressman?
37.5 million.
So yung 37 po ba, in over the counter yung pag-encash?
Yes, sir.
On the same day, 37 was released, 37 million
Yes.
pesos was released.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sigurado ka ba, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all three ba or 4 checks? 3 checks. Ganon ang ginawa yung 37.5 million?
I will have to check first.
Oh, tama
I
si
cannot
attorney.
recall how many checks.
Oh, you should recall. Kasi pupunta tayo tayo hanggang doon sa kung kailangan namin ipasubuin na yung CCTV nyo. Papasubuin na namin.
Ang tanong po ni Congressman Paduano, on 3 occasions, tatlong cheque po kasi yan, tatlong 37.5 million. Ito po ba tatlong 37.5 million in cash over the counter on the same date? I mean, 3 separate dates.
Ma'am, ganito lang po. With this huge amount, para safe ka, no, baka mamaya magkamali ka, then gagawa ka ng kwento para to defend your position at the same time yung opisina mo, better recall mo muna. Basta sabihin mo lang yung totoo, ma'am.
Yes,
No,
sir.
kung ano talaga nangyari.
Yes, sir.
Kasi pag lumabas na nagsisinungaling ka, you will violate our Section 11. Alam mo na yon. Alam mo yon, yung
Yes.
consequence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, siguro, better prepare na lang po for the next hearing, no? Yung mga possible questions. Be sure na kung transfer, it was transferred to other bank accounts. Kung pinangkas at hinatid. Diba? Or, pinaingkas, binitbit ni Edward. Tama?
Magtatanong ko lang sana kung itong Edward Paharda, kasi po ako nagtanong to last hearing, di ba yung cheque, papaingkas, ikaw yung branch manager, di ba? Pag ipapaingkas po yung cheque, nakaprepare yung pera, bigay mo sa counter. Pag binigay mo yung pera sa counter, may papipirma po kayo sa kanya, di ba? Yung receive the amount of this, and sa likod ng cheque, pipirma pa po si Mr. Paharda. Tama ho ba?
Yes, sir. The client will sign as acknowledgement na
And at the back of the
nireceive
check,
niya yung cheque. The cash.
the cash. So, pwede nyo kaming bigyan nung receiving copy, nung tatlong receiving copy ng from Land Bank, yung 37.5 million.
We will check our records,
Yes, ma'am.
sir.
Thank you. Tapos, ma'am, number 2, itong kay Gina Acosta na 125 million, sabi nyo kanina sa Show Boulevard po to, pinaingkas. Pwede po, yung sino nag-receive nitong July 13, 2023, na pinaingkas po niya yung 125 million. At yung July 11, na pinaingkas naman ni Edward Parda under your branch. Para ipagsusog lang po natin yung dalawang cheque. Pwede ho ba?
We will check our records,
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask the question to Ms. Catalan. Do you realize your accountability on this and consequence of what you did, Ms. Catalan?
Yes, Your Honor.
I would like to ask once again, were you requested or were you pressured?
I was requested, sir.
You were requested. You were not pressured at all. Come on, tell us the truth here.
I was requested, sir, in a nice way.
Thing is this, you received an envelope 9 times, am I right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that not a form of pressure?
Honestly, sir, the first time I met or I talked with...
Have you ever asked, why are you being given an envelope?
Yes, sir, I asked her. But
What was the answer?
it's just an allowance from the Vice President.
Was that?
It was just an allowance from the Vice President. Actually, I
Is
asked allowance.
Is that liquidated or is that recorded or is just given to you? Because it's a bit different when you say allowance and it's just an envelope given to you. Am I right?
Sir, the first time I received it, I honestly asked Shine, Ma'am, is it part of the confidential fund? Sabi niya, no. It was just an allowance from the Vice President. So, for me, honestly, I received it knowing that it
Okay.
was not part of the
Who gave you
confidential
Who gave you the envelope?
fund. ASEC, Sunshine Fajarda.
Who requested you to sign the accounting report?
It was also ASEC Shine Fajarda.
Therefore, if it was Asek Paharda who requested you, as you said, to sign, and she is also the one that gave you the envelopes, would you not think that it's a form of pressure on your part? Come on, but please tell us the truth here. Because look, I think you know what I mean, isn't it? I do not think that you are going to receive envelopes from the same person that requested you without you realizing the pressure of signing it. Ms. Catalan.
Your Honor, at the first giving of the envelope, I honestly asked Asik Shine if it is part of the confidential fund. Sabi niya, hindi, this is just an allowance from the secretary. So I trusted her word for that. And without any thinking na it was really part of the confidential fund, honestly on my part. So I received it honestly on my part without any it was part of the confidential fund.
I am saying this to you because alam mo, talagang my heart goes out to you, Miss Catalan. You know, I think it would be best that, you know, in your own heart, you have been pressured because you received the envelopes. They're not only being requested, you have been pressured because you received envelopes thinking that they are just allowances, but you know it is never recorded. It is not part of the budget that was given to the OVP or the Secretary of Education. It's not part. Did you sign a voucher for it?
No, Your Honor.
See? I mean, so what I'm saying is this. Those 9 envelopes you received is a form of pressure on your part or on the part of the same person that asked you to sign. Ms. Catalan. Am I right? Yes or no? No. Yes or no?
Maybe, Your Honor.
You know, it's not maybe. It's yes, isn't it?
I'm so nervous right now, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair.